So today a deep topic in Vihar Mahadevi Park, vision. Yeah. So there's this saying that a man cannot live on bread alone. And I think chronic hopelessness is a cancer in the soul of a person and a nation. So today our question is, who in terms of leadership, in terms of society, has given the average Sri Lankan a vision to get up in the morning, to coalesce and sort of put all the ups and downs, the sufferings, the vicissitudes of life aside and work towards a vision. Sri Lanka 2050. Yeah. So the lack of a vision or Dakma is a sign of bad leadership, right? Just going back and taking retribution on and it should happen, right? Those who have been corrupt, those who've broken the law, and all those who've been, practicing impunity for decades, the book should be thrown at them. But at the same time, what's the future? Okay? The whole of man is, even look at it in a religious sense. This is where, even though I am one, the atheists suffer, right? The religious, despite all their other things, have something better to look forward to, which energizes their day. But in this country, what I feel more and more is there is absolutely nothing to look forward to, yeah? And the current regime and many regimes before, correcting the mundane errors, even if they're egregious, like corruption, sending so-and-so to jail and then taking them out because they are ill. But that is not a vision. Man always wants to move forward. That is a part of the human spirit, right? Just like, election time, cutting the price on fuel, okay? Securing your rice and curry, that's not a vision. I'm not a parent, but I think it's very obvious that mom and dad want their kids to have a better life than they did. And in a country which can't deliver that, there is this sort of dejected, demoralized population, right? And a demoralized population, as we found in several ghettos, is that they become violent, they become very aggressive, okay? And the worst instincts of man come out, right? So what is this vision? Now, there was this talk about clean Sri Lanka, right? Now, I saw, I don't know, there was a very paltry vision, stop the buses, stop the trishaws. Even then, it was a start, but it didn't continue. I see buses with the magic mushroom craziness, honking horns. I'm sure those guys are high. I see trishaw guys, no meters. Where is the better future? So sometimes what we find in all of this is that I think it's a very sad indictment of Sri Lanka that what's going to happen is it's not a future. See that, and this is a very philosophical distinction. A future is something fundamentally different, and in this connotation, something better. What we're going to have is a present tomorrow, right? 10 years from now, when I came to Sri Lanka 33 years ago, and I'm telling you, other than the imported technology of the cell phone, which we're filming on now, everything's the same, right? Everything's the same. The calendar has turned from 1990 whatever to 2025, but the problems are the same. The dispositions of the people are the same, and the leadership just merry-go-round turning around. There's a lot of political drama, a lot of political theater, and in our next episode, we're going to explain how the mundane and the unsexy, like cleanliness in the park, hasn't happened. So I don't know. I feel like when I get up in the morning and, go to work, I just feel like I'm just checking in, checking out, as they call it in America, paycheck, yeah? And it's just hand to mouth, yeah? And this is why, a lot of people who know pine for a better time. And this is why this is not very popular and we are called Kalusuddas, but even the British Empire and Old Ceylon, people pine for it because they feel like this is not a country with any kind of future. It's just like getting by. Yeah, so we are looking for leaders, and my dear friend and the founder of this particular project has said that the mayor of Colombo is such a leader. So we're looking for, at first it's basically cleaning up the city and then building up that into something which everyone can get behind. Yeah. And that means that the school kid wants to go to school. Yeah. The pettikade guy wants to do a little bit better job, give an extra vade. Yeah. The corporate guy wants to, stop his car and help the beggar. Yeah. That kind of unified, coalesced thing, I don't see that. I think it's this atomization, which is a product of late capitalism, where everyone's just me, 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 me. In my class, the kids, the heroes have changed, and this is very worrying. Like when I grew up, it was like Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. It was like pop stars and athletes. There's a lot of criticism about that, but now it's about billionaires. Basically, not people. At least the pop stars and athletes thrived, and we looked up to them on their talent. Now we're looking up to the people who exploit us. Yeah. So that atomization, and this is what is called in sociology an enemy, where you're just this aimless element in the social system. There's a nihilism in this. So Sri Lanka, unfortunately, is going down that nihilistic, every man for himself thing, which will not. And this is where we have to go back to Marx, right? There has to be some collectivism for improvement. There's no me getting better at the expense of you. That's what sports is for. In sports, I defeat you. But in society, it's you and me. And it's us. And a leader should foster that and encourage that. Whereas all I see is this random programs, which we're going to show soon, which I don't see any fruition and no commitment to. So over to the new mayor of Colombo. At least a vision for Colombo. What kind of city does Colombo want to be in 2035? Yeah? All right. So that's cancel culture. And look forward to our next episode where we give more examples and instantiate everything we talked about today. All right.